Hi guys, good evening, and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host, Eddie, and in tonight's video, I'll be discussing what I thought of the latest and greatest episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Oh, this was so satisfying and rewarding on so many levels. But before I get into all of that and I start gushing and I keep talking too much and too long, of course, please be warned that this is a spoiler-filled episode review. So if you're not caught up on the Book of Boba Fett by Chapter 3, Episode 3, do not keep watching or listening, as I will be discussing big spoilers, and I mean big spoilers. That being said, you have been warned. Let's dive right back into it. First and foremost, I completely forgive the powers that be for not giving us a Rancor now that we have a Rancor again. Yay! And its handler is none other than Danny Trejo, which could not be more perfect to me. The guy just looks like he would be an excellent Rancor trainer slash handler. Oh my god. And then Boba wanting to learn how to ride it is icing on the cake. Oh god, I hope we get to see that before this season is over. That would be incredible. Oh, when the Hutts said that they brought a gift, I'm like, please be a Rancor, please be a Rancor, please be a Rancor. Yes, and sure enough, there it was. I also loved the fact that we got a fight between two species that I never really thought about until it was happening. I'm like, oh shit, we're seeing a Gamorrean versus a Wookiee fight. That's pretty dope. They're both big, physically imposing, formidable fighters, and it did not disappoint. The brief scuffle between the two of them and Cranston, or whatever his name is, was quite satisfying. And I loved that both Gamorreans came out alive, because at first I thought after he had bit that one in the shoulder, it was more of a neck bite. I'm like, oh, is he going to get it? Nope, he's alive just fine. One of the downsides to this episode was that I hated seeing that the Tuskens that he was trying to get them work for with the Pikes were seemingly murdered. And I don't know if it's necessarily the Pikes. I don't know if that JL symbol is their thing. I don't know if it is, because in the flashbacks we saw with those guys who did that to that home, that private home, I think it was more that gang than it was the Pikes. It could be the Pikes, but it could be somebody else. So, it's interesting to me if Boba is preparing to go to war with the Pikes, or if he's just preparing for whatever happens with the Pikes and whoever else may want to challenge their claim to Tatooine now that the Hutts have pulled out. I also love the fact that Boba spared the Wookiee, and now that he's got a possible new ally in letting him live, but also letting him go instead of selling him to be a gladiator fight. And that just shows you how typical the Hutts can easily disregard anyone who works for them, no matter how loyal they might be. Like, they told him, go ahead, sell him to fight in the gladiator pits. Like, jeez, he's standing right there. God. But then he lets him go, so hopefully that's not the last of the Wookiee. And I was also hoping, despite the fact that he was trying to kill Boba, I was also hoping the Wookiee would survive this episode, and I'm glad he did. I also like this new group of characters, these young adults who seem to be human, but with modified droid text to them, because they are seemingly physically disabled, but not as much, because some of them or all of them have some kind of droid parts attached to them. Pretty cool. And now Boba's got his own private little army. I loved how he turned a possible ugly confrontation into a partnership or an alliance. He's saying, okay, you're saying there's no work in the area. Then come work for me. Come live at the palace with me. And I'll give you home, shelter, food, and work for me. Just do as I say. I'll treat you well. So I was like, okay, great. This is productive. See, this is opposite of what Jabba or the other crime lords would do. And I think one of the reasons why he did that is because that girl, said that he's basically a crime boss and he wasn't any different from the other crime lords in the area. And maybe that's what prompted him to say, okay, tell you what, come work for me. Won't punish you, won't kill you, won't hurt you or threaten you, just come work for me. I also love how he used the opportunity to call out Stephen Root's character. Such a delight seeing character actor Stephen Root play a cruddy, corrupt worker in the working district of the city. He was selling water at outrageous prices, and Boba's like, hey, bring those prices down. Here's what you're getting, and consider it resolved. He's like, and also bring your prices down as well. So I'm glad he was able to bring an end to that nonsense, because no wonder those kids stole the water from him. It's ridiculously expensive, So this episode just satisfied me on so many levels with the bringing in of a Rancor, the celebrity cameos, and just overall the decisions made by the characters in terms of forging new relationships ahead. And I hated seeing the Tusken Raiders go, but a part of me felt like the Tusken Raiders storyline should end by this episode. I just didn't want it to end with their death and destruction of their village. That was heartbreaking. But hopefully we'll get some answers as to who killed them and why, and if it was the Pikes, and if not the Pikes, then maybe it's the people who might be going up against the Pike Syndicate. So we'll see what happens. But I'm very excited moving forward now that the Wookiee could return as a possible ally to Boba, and he's got a Rancor now, and he's got a small private army in the form of that gang of young adults. And, the plot just seems to be picking up traction and moving full steam ahead, and I am here for it. And I am just so incredibly happy and excited with this episode and everything that it did for us. So, yay! Favorite episode so far. And I'm hoping that the episodes continue to outdo themselves with the remaining 4 that we have to look forward to. And I'm sure they're going to be great. I think this episode reaffirmed my belief and opinion, an overall theory, that the show is going to improve episode by episode, because this is the 3rd episode in, and this was by far the best episode yet. But I'm hoping it'll be outdone by other episodes. So I'm excited. Hope you guys are too. Hope you're enjoying the show as much as I am. Thank you so much for watching this episode review. Don't forget, new episodes of the Book of Boba Fett drop every Wednesday on Disney+. Don't miss it. It's so much fun. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.